Hey y'all, welcome back to the Pink Envelope. I wanted to try something a bit different. Step outside of that normal decorate with me where I take you through several spaces across 30-45 minutes and do something a little more simplistic. I wanted to show you how I decorate each one of my Christmas trees each season, and they pivot each season. So I wanted to start with my nature-inspired Christmas tree. I want to show you how I'm going to take this and turn it into this. It's actually very easy, and this particular design is quite affordable. So I'm gonna walk you through how I place the things, how I shop for the things, and the overall idea. So if you also wanna create a rustic Christmas tree or a natural Christmas tree or a nature-inspired Christmas tree, you can. So let me first introduce you to my Christmas tree. First things first, I grab a water and then I choose some tunes to set the mood for decorating. I love this tree. This is my first King of Christmas tree I ever got. And I wanted a more natural tree. And I bought this tree for this project in particular. When putting this tree together, it comes in 3 sections. It comes in a big bag, very easy. Unzip the bag, set each section up, and then you're going to want to fluff. With this particular tree, because I'm going to be decorating it with a lot of really non-traditional ornaments, Christmas decor, I almost want it to be splayed out like fingertips. So the branches in the back, I do fluff up and out and down, all in a 360, but the ones up front, I almost just splay open like your hands like this. So that's how you can think about it. Anything on the arms can stick out wild and crazy, be filler, but up front, you want it to be an open palm. And I will sit my decor here because once again, with this particular rustic or nature-inspired tree, I'm gonna create a shock and awe factor by decorating it with items that are not traditional ornaments. We're gonna have some of those on there, but how I get the look that y'all saw in that first photo is by taking random pieces and turning them into Christmas tree ornaments. And so with an artificial tree, and this is easier to do with an artificial tree, you'll be able to use these fingers, so to speak, to grab the different pieces. The King of Christmas trees all are very good as they're wired heartily to hold items. So let me show you a little bit what I mean by that. These are all of the items we're gonna be decorating with today. And as you can see so far, only those 4 are actual ornaments. And I have everything in sets and groups. Everything has a partner except for our key pieces like this sign and that guy right there. So we'll gather these guys up, placing our anchor pieces here on the tree first, and then moving into our smaller pieces and wrapping up finally with what you could call more traditional ornaments. Just like when I'm decorating my mantle, I put my key pieces in their key places. I got this years ago in a home decor subscription box, and it has been passed all over this house. It's been outdoors on a wreath, indoors hanging from the mantle, and now I'm actually gonna use it as my star on this nature tree. And I'm just gonna use my fingers, so to speak, to grab onto the star and hold it. I'm gonna try to do it as naturally as possible without adding any additional wires. All right, let's start with something like this. We can adjust it as we need to. Another anchor piece is this guy here. I got this sign 3-ish years ago from White Home Woods. White Home Woods is no longer around. They are now Azaria Homes. So I guess they are around, they just have a new name. When she first launched, all of these pieces that I have had for years, this guy, that guy, and others I will be showing you, I have linked on Amazon. Now, they're not the exact items, but they're wonderful dupes that would be comp items that you could use. And honestly, they're a bit more affordable. So if you want to hop over there and take a peek at those, you can. I also do have this Christmas tree linked so that you can order this exact one. because what I'm about to do on this tree can't be done on a Yorkshire or a blue spruce. They're too full. You wouldn't be able to set the items like I'm about to. This particular tree was built for that more organic, natural design. So I have a tendency to do my trees at an angle. So I don't have, you're basically looking at the front of the tree and the front door is here and the living room is here. I don't want this facing straight into the front door or the living room. I want it adjacent, that as you move across the space, you almost get like a 180 view on the tree, where the star is facing that way. Kind of want this guy to be just a little bit off kilter then, not facing the exact same way, but still forward facing, if you know what I mean. So we can get him to balance in there. Yeah, so he's more this way, the star's a bit more this way, and we'll adjust as we move on. You're gonna notice one of the things I use heavily in this design are bells. I love bells. I have linked on that Amazon storefront a ton of bells you can check out. Some of the ones I'll be showing you came from Decor steals. Last I checked, they were sold out, but you can pop over there and look. There are some at Hobby Lobby and Michael's as well if you want to go check those out. And then I did just get a couple in my Evergreen Lane box, which I think is sold out, but I'll link it just in case. And our brand new home decor box, the Canyon Hollow Home, that we just opened the other day. So I'm gonna grab a chunk of bells. I usually like to go for my biggest ones, and I'm thinking this set of 3, which I believe is from Decor Stills, is what we'll go for first. I do have a big set of bells like this linked on Amazon, and I wanna anchor them. Ooh, which side, right or left? There is no correct answer. Let's go this side. Okay, what are we thinking about there? Oh yeah, fantastic. So to offset that set of bells, I have another set of bells. I believe those are Decor Stills and these are Canyon Hollow. Those are the ones that I think are sold out. These are the ones you may be able to get if you watch this video now, and so go subscribe to this box really fast. Otherwise, hop on the Amazon storefront. I'm already straining these branches. I think that works though. I like that. So we got a major anchor here and a major anchor here. I want to take some of these other bells that I have, and I have a lot of them, y'all, and kind of add them throughout. So what if we put this longer one to kind of counterbalance over here in between these two sets? And the thing to remember is there's no right or wrong way to place these items. And I might even be putting them here right now, and then in a second we decide to move them. But I am gonna go through and see if I can get most of the big bells anchored first. Then we'll start adding the accents. In my opinion, you really and truly cannot have too many bells, and you do not want them all to be matching. You want them to be various sizes, shapes, but coordinating in color and style. All right, I've got one individual bell right here. I'm thinking he's gonna anchor somewhere on this side. Okay. So now that we have all of our more copper and brass bells established, I found these at Hobby Lobby, and I ordered them for a display that we all did together maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I don't know if they're at Hobby Lobby. They probably still are. And these were draped from my mantle on my fireplace. I'm now going to repurpose them as they are still a bell, but they are a different type of bell to reiterate our theme, but also break things up a little bit. Okay. Oh, I have these little bitty bells. They're not quite enough to wrap around the whole tree. So I think I'm just gonna use them to really accent this sign right here. Cause yeah, it's a short little strand that needs to be shown off a little bit more than if they were tucked all in the tree. It would be hard to see. It's just maybe something like this. Okay, so I feel like we've got a good chunk of color in our accents, but I think I want to add some pops of colors. We've got some red here, but I want it to be very natural and organic, and you can kind of choose. Do you want to do cranberries? Maybe you yourself want to thread and string cranberries to wrap around. Maybe you want to dry oranges. Oranges can be, maybe you do both. There's a season where we did both. I don't think it was last year, but I think it was the year before where we did both. And then at the end of the season, we wrapped the tree in them and put it outside, and we literally let the wildlife eat the Christmas tree clean. It was actually this exact tree. So this tree has been indoors, outdoors, and back indoors over the last 3 years, and it's still perfect. Not a light bulb out, nothing. I've been so impressed. So I don't think the bells are necessarily all that wild, although this many sets of bells on a single Christmas tree is a little bit unique. But I think going in and taking elements like these were bought from Hobby Lobby. They still might be at Hobby Lobby, but just in case they aren't, I have linked comps to these on the Amazon storefront. And I want to place these on the tree as my ornament. And so I go through and kind of have to decide like who's looking where, and I don't want anything to compete. So maybe he should actually go down here and just set them in the tree. They don't need any special wiring. It will just hold on their own. Let's see here. No. You kind of have to move them around a little bit. You want them to have a very natural feel sitting there so that they don't look like they're floating in air, but they're also not competing with something else. So like that looks fantastic there. This branch is just kind of screaming at me. Can he sit right there? Oh yeah, he sits right there. Fantastic. And I have several like raccoons and a moose and a squirrel and a fox. Get several different creatures and set them throughout. And then I don't even remember where my kiddos got these, but we've had these, what it feels like, for forever. And I just always incorporate them into this tree. If you're going to get an animal, I have 2 daughters, so 2 of these guys, that you want to set, I do recommend getting sets. Things decorate a little bit better in sets than if they're individually placed on by themselves. So we'll put him here, and then I want to probably swing him over here. Normally this window is open, however, there's a contractor out there, so I closed it so we wouldn't be distracted. But I do like the idea of somebody walking up and he is looking out the window at them. So I'm gonna put him back here. What are we thinking? Here's another. I think these came in a home decor subscription box. They're just white snowflakes, nothing fancy, supposed to go on a shelf. Therefore, I'm not gonna put them on a shelf. I'm gonna put them on a Christmas tree. But it reiterates this walking in a winter wonderland theme without being too literal. So Okay, I'm liking this. I do also have these. These are from a past design we did on the mantle. If I can find that mantle design, I'll show you how I use these. Also from Hobby Lobby, linked to comp on Amazon. I don't like everything to be individual. It makes the tree piecemeal. So I am gonna add a few things that are strung together so that we have some items that bring continuity. So let's see here. Still, we got bells. We got the dried cranberries like are shown on those other bells. So it's not completely random. What are we thinking on that? Yeah, that's great. I'm seeing a little too much string here. Let's see if we can tuck some of this back to give it a more natural look, more natural flow. All right, so you guys, I was given these probably 20 years ago and I loved them so much, but I didn't know what to do with them. So I took them and threw them in a bin and they sat there for 15 years until the idea for this tree popped in my mind. And now I use them on this nature-inspired tree. I have linked a comp to these on Amazon, but they're mini wreaths. They're standalone mini wreaths. These could hang anywhere in and of themselves. But because I wouldn't want to hang a wreath where we're supposed to hang a wreath, I want to hang a wreath in a place where it's unique, I thread them on the tree like this. And voila. And they've got bird's nest bells. Once again, we're reiterating the frosting and the glitter. We're reiterating the bells. We're reiterating our bird's nest with a more natural. So anywhere I see a hole that I'm like, ooh, I wish there was just something a little bit more there. That is where I add one of these mini wreaths. I'll tell you, this is one of those designs that after you're done, you're going to need a vacuum and a wet mop to kind of pick up all of our little frosting. Okay, so we've got some options here now. In our last Canyon Hollow, we got these mercury bulbs, but I already own these mercury bulbs. So I don't know if we want to incorporate all of them or some of them. These mercury bulbs are very large and quite heavy, but they kind of add that more traditional feel in that I think makes it a little more Christmassy when we add them in. So we'll add them in, take a peek, and bounce back. I don't remember where I got these. I got these over 15 years ago at a boutique in McKinney, Texas. And so I have linked ones that are very, very similar to these on my Amazon storefront. I also do have the Canyon Hollow linked down below where you can pick up these in that quarterly home decor box that I was telling you about. It's getting pretty full. What do you guys think? Here's the real question. Do we come in behind with some orange slices? I also have some ornaments that are made of clay that we could hang that look like this, that are very natural inspired. They're clay ornaments stamped with leaves. And I just want to reiterate, the oranges you can do yourself for pennies on the dollar. The clay with the leaf stampings, you can do yourself really, really easily. Same thing with the cranberries. This is not a tree that has to be expensive. You can get on Amazon and order these bells for pennies on the dollar and string them yourself with twine. You really can decide how involved you want to be or uninvolved you want to be depending on your schedule with the design. So let me put some pops of oranges up there so we can see what that looks like because I'm thinking we might love it. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and add these because even though they're not orange, they're a similar color, and I think they're gonna be complementary to the design as well. It's a pretty full tree, isn't it? So when it comes down to the tree, I always finish out the bottom with the most non-traditional skirt. I don't like to follow the rules. If you've been around here very long at all, you know that about me. So when I'm thinking about a tree skirt, I usually do a skirt plus something else. So this tree skirt came from Hobby Lobby or Walmart. Let's see, is there a tag on here that tells me? Oh, The Prairie by Rachel Ashwell. Does not tell me much, which she's not even around anymore. Who remembers The Prairie by Rachel Ashwell? Used to be a whole design effect. I mean, I guess she might be around, but the actual Prairie, which was located here in Texas, and all the Rachel Ashwell stuff is not located here in Texas anymore. It's around the corner. I like this because it's non-competing. It's neutral. It's what I had on hand. So I'm gonna wrap this around the base as the base that may or may not show to some degree. This is where things get fun. I was at a market, just like a church bazaar market, when I purchased this. It is skis and a sled, vintage, just a vintage, I mean, nothing fancy, right? Old school. It's not sharp, that's the good thing. And I've had this for 15 years, I feel like. Maybe it's 10. It's been a while. It's been indoors, it's been outdoors, it's been on shelves, it's been everywhere. I am using it with my nature-inspired tree, my natural tree. And I'm actually just gonna slide it underneath the tree and then have these skates hang off the edge. The tree skirt really doesn't matter. And then I have these two jelly cats, once again, things my kids picked up, sets of two, one for big sister, one for little sister, that I'm just gonna sit right here on this guy at the base. They're little reindeers. I don't even know if they make them anymore. Like so. And voila, this is one of the trees that we actually will not put gifts under. We'll put gifts under one of the other 3 trees we have floating around the house. Things to remember, you do not have to go this full. We were about 1/4 the way into this tree and it looked beautiful. And that's actually how I started. I've been building this tree for 3 years now. I guess you could say we built it in thirds. So I got a few of the items and I put them up. Then the next year, I got a few more items and I put them up. And then this year, I got a few more items, bells from Decor stills, bells from Canyon Hollow, ornaments from Canyon Hollow, snowflakes from, I believe, White Homewood / Azaria Home, and added them in. And so each season, I just spend the tiniest little bit of more to add to it. Now, we might have reached a point where it's time to push pause on this guy, but don't feel pressure just because you set a theme that it has to be done all that season. The more time you take to slowly and beautifully choose these items and hand pick them, the more intimate and more gorgeous the tree is. And please let me stretch you. Go get any form of an item and stick it on this tree. I haven't wired anything. You haven't seen me have to fight through. Get yourself a very well-made artificial tree and all of the hard work is done. I'm going to show you 2, maybe even 3 more Christmas trees in this little series I'm doing. The other 2 I'll show you are from King of Christmas, and then one of them is from Walmart. And you're gonna be able to see the difference. The Walmart tree, although beautiful, can't quite hang with the intense decorating that we put it through. All right, so do we think we should call this nature-inspired, natural-inspired, rustic-inspired, Winter Wonderland? It can't be Winter Wonderland. I think more white with Winter Wonderland, although this is definitely a Texas Winter Wonderland. Okay, you guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm still getting over whatever this is that I have. So hopefully my thoughts were cohesive. Hopefully was not clearing my throat or sniffing too much. I was really trying to focus throughout this video. I do still have the pink Christmas tree where, yes, we pink out a frosted Christmas tree. And then I have an ombre tree I want to share with you. But the ombre tree, all of the ornaments were purchased over a span of time from nonprofits here in San Antonio. So the entire tree is decorated with giving back in mind. And so subscribe if you want to see either one of those. And then if there's time, I'll show you my family Christmas tree. It's all of our family ornaments and vintage antique ornaments that have been passed down to me from family and friends. It's actually really, really cool. And it's the tree I set up in my bedroom. I hope that you guys are having a very, very Merry Christmas. And if you did subscribe to the channel, I'm going to see you later. Merry Christmas, y'all.